Welcome to this episode of Author Success Show. The special guest we have today is Rahul Bansode. Rahul is a digital transformation architect and an experienced professional in executing business transformation initiatives with over 20 years of experience in software application development, software architecture, cloud computation, robotic process automation, and user experience design. He has been consulting with large and mid sized corporations on their business transformation initiatives and adopting digital technology to build new products and services. He's passionate about reading on digital innovation, technology, evolution, and regularly shares his experience and thoughts by publishing white papers, blogs, and posts. And now he does the same with his newly launched book, Digital Roadmap. Hi, Rahul. Welcome to Author Success Show.
Hey, Josna, thanks for having me.
My pleasure, Rahul. You've been such an amazing client to work with. So I was really looking forward to this conversation.
Same here. It's my pleasure to speak with you.
So, how do you feel now after getting the first copy of the digital roadmap in your hands? How does it feel?
The feeling is very, very different. It's been a journey of 15 months because I had my daily office work and then I had to work on the book. It took me like 5 months to write the book, and then the editing took like another 7 to 8 months or almost. Yes, it was difficult during that period, but the day I got the book in my hand, suddenly all that pain and whatever hard work I have done just vanished. I could not remember any hard work. I just felt like the feeling was very different. I cannot express it in words, but yes, it feels great when you see the book in your hand. I was seeing the PDF copy, I was seeing the e-version, but looking at that book, a physical book in your hand with your name and whatever hard work you have done, the feeling is amazing.
Makes it like feel totally worth it, right?
Yes, it does makes you feel worth it. Yeah.
So could you just tell me a little bit about your background in digital transformation and all that? You initially started your journey in India and now you work in the US. So how did it all happen and what's exactly your profile in your current job?
No, I was always based out of US itself. And for last 5 years, I'm primarily like a normal IT guy. I'm a developer. Grew up from a career of being a developer, project manager, and then into a director of software with the previous company where I was working. During this period, what I found out was like there was a transformation which is happening within the industry. There are new players coming into the market, which is called as the fintechs, the tech companies, and they are disrupting the market. Like you have seen it in the banking, you have seen it in the e-commerce, you have seen it in something like the Uber or the Netflix. They're just disrupting the market. So the market, which was in a status quo for such a huge period of time, suddenly started seeing the transformation. On the other hand, the customers who are using these products, like you and me, we are also getting transformed. Our behavior is changing because we are using social media a lot. We are using mobile phone everywhere. It is part of our body now. We are connecting with our friends and families through the social media, and that's our daily life. So that what helps in, because you are in so much in this social world and with the digital, your behavior starts changing without you knowing. So and when I talk about you and me, that same person is also a customer for somebody. So their behavior is also, and they are expecting it. So I thought like there's a lot of transformation going on, but the incumbents, the legacy business models is not changing. And if they don't change over the period of time, it's possible that they will lose their market share. It's possible that they will lose their clientele and they will lose their business. And that's what is happening with all the big firms which are going from the business. That's what is happening. So my journey started like 5 years back when I started studying this topic, and I started writing about it through white papers. I started writing, publishing articles, speaking with my friends. But yes, during the lockdown period, I wanted to do something very creative. The option was for me to do some technical work, do some certification, or take a challenging task like writing a book, which I have never done it. So I said, let me try this out. let's see what happens. The maximum thing which will happen is that I'll not be able to complete it. But
Right.
let's
Nothing
put
to
the
lose, right? Yeah.
nothing to lose kind of thing. Only time will be kind of wastage, if I can say. Um, so let's go with that. And then I started writing, saw it whether I can complete, and then I took the plunge into it. I
Hmm.
started writing, and yet it got completed. The hard part was for me, the thought doesn't come on when I'm typing. I
Hmm.
have to write it on a physical paper. So
Right.
I
That's your
actually
way of
bought
thinking, actually.
that's a way of thinking. So
Hmm.
after very, very long period after my college days, this was the first time where I actually bought full scale books, three of them. I took around like 15 pence to write it down. So that's how the journey started for me. And
Right.
I'm quite happy with that.
Sure. So pandemic was horrible for so many reasons, but it also had its advantages because a lot of people like you, Rahul, started to take up a lot of creative endeavors like writing books.
Yes, and definitely. Like this was a period where like I wanted to do something, and I was seeing like people are doing
Hmm.
a lot of cooking or something, some other activities or singing or music and those kind of things. I said, let me try something different which I have never done, and
Yeah.
which would challenge me a lot. Yeah, sorry.
But
Go ahead.
writing was not new to you, Nora, because you have been doing these white papers and you have a blog also. So all this is already putting you as a thought leader in your industry. Because I'm not sure if all your colleagues are submitting white papers, but you're already, doing all that stuff and creating your mark in your industry. So what really made you to decide? Let me take the next step and also write your message in the form of a book.
Writing a blog, normally I tend to have it like 700 to 800 words,
Hmm.
if I can put
Ideal size for a blog, yeah.
ideal size of it, because it cannot go beyond that. It has to be a little bit spontaneous with little bit study. Writing a white paper would take around 5 to 10 days with the study and what you want to present. It
Hmm.
won't go more than 4 to 5 pages, which is like 2,000, 3,000 words.
Yeah.
But when you're writing a book, it's altogether a different story, because you have to start thinking about how you can span the whole book,
Hmm.
what you want to narrate. There is a lot of study which I realize that like that is a lot of study which has to undergo
Yeah.
into this. In fact, when that thought came to me, I started reading more books so that
Hmm.
just to understand like how things are written, because I had no experience of that. So writing a book is altogether a different, I would say, than just writing a white paper or publishing a white paper or just a blog. It requires a lot of dedication. It requires a lot of study. It requires understanding, and then to narrate it in your own word, like what's your thought process around it.
Yeah.
So that's a very, very difficult task, I would say. But yeah, right, it's a very, very difficult, different than just writing a white paper or thing. And plus,
Sure.
when you're talking about a white paper or an
Hmm.
article, you're talking about a specific topic
Hmm.
in a very, very concise way. But when you're talking about a book, a non-fictional book for a business audience, it has to be wide range. You have to
Hmm.
look at the various people whom you're targeting. The subject has to be wide range,
Hmm.
and it has to cater to the needs of the people who are going to read. Not my needs, but need to the people of them. So yeah, it's a very different ball game, I would say now.
Right. So when you started writing initially, Rahul, did you have any particular target reader in mind? Because your subject will appeal to a lot of different types of people, but did you have any particular reader in mind?
Yes, there were few which I still follow. In the fintech world, there's a
Hmm.
person who is called as the guru. His name is Brett King. I
Hmm.
follow him a lot to understand the various transformation in the financial industry. That is person called as Richard Turin, who works primarily in the China market. So you can see a lot of blogs from him. I look at Isaac Soles, which I mentioned. He's a good friend of mine. He was
Hmm.
kind of client to me, and then he is now an author, a bestseller author. I follow him. So these were some of the people who actually I was following around, and
Hmm.
uh, so these were the people who were kind of inspiration for me to get plunge and get myself knowledgeable into this. The normally thing which I've seen is this, like normally a book is written by a CIO, C-level folks
Yeah.
after having your experience of
20,
uh,
30 years, right?
the 20, 30 years. they go and write a book basically.
Mm.
And but for me it was like quite earlier. I was not in
Yeah.
the C level, um, but the thought was there, the concept was there. I was trying to speak to a lot of people. I was trying to narrate that this is what is happening within the industry. Some were listening, some were not listening. That's the
Mm.
fact of the life. Or somebody was not able to understand what I was trying to convey. Then this is where I thought like it would be better that I I narrate the whole thing into the book format.
Yeah,
And
people do take you seriously when you actually present it in the form of a book, right?
yes, that I realized it. Like once you
Yeah,
put
the
it, because
perception changes.
the perception changes. Yes, definitely the perception changes, because after publishing the book, a lot of friends reach out to me.
Mhm.
Uh, I had not informed about this to anybody. There were just hardly few people who knew about
Mhm.
who I'm writing. Not even like, apart from my wife, nobody in the family knew about it.
Oh, it
Um,
was like
uh,
your secret
yeah,
project.
it was just because I didn't knew whether I'll be able to complete it out or not. There was just one friend of mine who helped me with the cover page. He knew
Mm.
about it. Um, but apart from that, nobody else knew about it. Later in the stage when things got in very like crystallized form, I would say,
Mm.
then I started talking to people about it. But till then, it was not. But yeah, the perception changed. I can see people when they speak to me or message me. It's a very different perception which I'm getting now.
Yeah, totally. So, what was your writing process like, Rahul? Did you get it right at the very first go, or did you eventually develop your own way of writing? Like any
So
routine or any specific strategy you followed?
the strategy which I followed was like I did a research like how to write a book. Okay, and
Mm.
so one of the ideas given or shared with me was using the cards, which I still use it. I use these
Mm.
cards
Yeah.
uh, just for each subject. I would start outlining what I want to speak. I would start doing the study about the various citations which I have to get, and the thought
Mm.
process, and I'll start putting it as a pointers. And as I mentioned, thoughts comes to me when I'm writing with my hand. So
Mm.
I would start writing about that chapter. Okay. And before that, when I started, I first created an outline of the table of contents, which
Mm.
gave me
So
at a
important.
25,000 feet, I would say, it gave me an overview of what I want to cover in each subject, or
Yeah.
whether the subject is flowing as I want it. So that actually helped me out. And then I started writing about it. And as I said, like I would first write it on a paper. The thought comes, it's a very, very, very draft version, a lot of mistakes
Mm.
in this thing. My writing is also not good, but I would still go and writing.
You're just being
Um,
modest. Our
no, no, no,
editor will not agree with this.
no, no. My writing, I mean, the writings, the way I write is not that great. But it actually gave me a thought process, and then I would type it out.
Okay.
Then I would type it out, and
Okay, so
then
you
the
would
draft.
write by hand and then you would type it out after you
Yes,
have that initial
yes, yes,
draft.
yes. And
Mhm.
as I said, I was doing 8 hours job, plus there were like 2, 3 projects within Kyocera. I was handling 2, 3 projects, so the workload was there. Um,
So
so
did you
the
have a
only thing,
specific time to write every day?
yes, after 8:30 p.m.,
Okay.
8:30 or 9 p.m. because before that, like till 6 o'clock, you're working. Sometimes you're working till seven
Hmm.
o'clock. Then there are some commitment with the family. You're either going for a walk or going for grocery or going for kids or some classes or something. Then you have dinner, and only after that I get time. So it's like
Nice.
8:30 or 9 till 11 o'clock. I would do some writing. There would be occasions where I won't get to write for 3 days. Then I
Hmm.
had to cover it up during the weekends, kind of a thing. So yes, so that was my pattern. So every day,
Hmm.
on an average, I spent like 2 hours writing. Sometimes I could just write for 30 minutes, but that was
Hmm.
fine. But that was the pattern which built up. I
Yeah.
started creating this thing, and within 5 months, I think so. The draft was ready.
The
The
initial
draft was
draft.
ready. The
Hmm.
initial draft was ready. for me to give it to the proofreader to go over and find a lot of spelling mistakes and grammatical mistakes.
Yeah.
But it was the concept was there that way. So that was my thought process.
Yeah. The message that I take away from this, Rahul, is a lot of people give this excuse that they are having a full-time job, they are a parent, their lives is too busy, that's why they're not able to write a book. But where there is a will, there is a way, and you're such a shining example for that, that you had that commitment of writing every single day as much as possible, and you stayed with that momentum, right? The other important thing I wanted to understand from you, Rahul, is your book is not something that is very easy in the sense for in order to write, you didn't just put your thoughts here and there, but you also did heavy amount of research, and that clearly is visible in the book with all the quotations and the citations and the charts and the graphs and all that that's there in the book. So did you do that parallelly while you were writing, or did you have some separate time for doing the research? How did you collate all this information?
So there are three parts to it. The first, as I said, like when I was putting the thoughts on the cards, okay, that's the time I was doing the research about it.
Mm-hmm.
So about a topic, I would take, for example, there's a topic called as customer experience. Okay, so I would take this topic, start reading about it, thinking, take notes from the various other authors or publications or whatever media I could get. Just get that information about it. I also had my own thoughts on that particular topic, so I would just correlate those informations. So that was the initial, and then I would start writing about it in the format or the flow which I have to. With respect to the charts, yeah, with respect to the citation, of course, I had to keep note of each one of them because I don't wanted to lose anything, because I don't wanted to take somebody's work and put it in my
Yeah,
I
not
wanted
give
to
credit. Yeah.
yeah. So that was always my thought process. And within the book, if you look at it, I think so I've got citation to 192. 192 citations are there. Within a book of 400 pages, 192 citations are there, which is like 50% that way I've given. With respect to the charts and everything, I had to come up, like, design my own charts with the thought process, because I thought, like, just having textual information is not going to be used. I have to
Yeah, at least
give
for
it
your
the graph.
subject, it's important to
Yeah,
validate
it's
it with
very important
graphs and
to
things.
validate it, graphs, charts, tables, those guys. So I created those draft version at least on those, and wherever there was, like, I had to borrow the graphs or the charts from somebody else, other publications. I actually just copied it, but yes, gave the citation that this is from here, because I thought, like, just duplicating it won't help me out over here. So I just, so that was the process. Like, I to take the readings, citations, write it, create the graphs and everything, and then collate everything.
Sure. So then how did the publishing process begin? I think by the time you reached out to us, you already decided to self-publish, right? So did you even try going ahead with a publishing house, or were you very clear in your mind that self-publishing is the way to go?
No, I tried going, because that's the very obvious thing, right? One of my friend, his name is Preston Urka. He just published a book on environment, and so he helped me out. So I spoke to him, and he explained me the whole publishing process with respect to going to the literary agent, query letters, proposal, all those things.
Okay.
I had no knowledge about it. So the day I finished and I started talking to him, and he started, you have to start writing proposals, you have to start writing query letters, you have to start reaching out to the. At that point, I said, why did I write the book? Like,
This is even more difficult than
that
writing.
is more difficult, because by the time I wrote the book, I was like at 80,000 plus words.
Right.
I had no words in my vocabulary left out to put this thing. So that was the fact of life. And then I had to write it out. And I started understanding the whole business of publishing at that moment after completing it. And I reached out to, like, close to 50 literary agents through, of course, through emails. More than 50, I didn't got any response, as usual. There are a few 10-20% who responded, and it's a very typical answer. You get, we are not doing any business in this particular genre. But the
Okay.
fact which I realized was like, I'm not a known person, so they don't want to waste time on me. They would rather put it on somebody else. And
And I
at
think
that,
you also shouldn't have wasted your time on them.
yes. And that's where I realized it. Like, this is not going to work out. Yeah, I can keep trying and trying and trying, and nothing is going to work out. If I have to see the light of this book, then I'll have to go self-publishing, and that's how I started going through the various agencies. Then I found it out. You guys are into this thing, found it very good, and yeah, the rest is where we are now today. Thanks for everything.
Our pleasure, Rahul. So, what in the entire publishing process, what was your favorite parts?
Favorite part was primarily with the proofreading, I would say, where I could see somebody else's perspective to the book, like the concept which I had written, which was just my thoughts. Nobody else had reviewed it at that moment of time, and when the proofreader started editing I could see a very different perspective with respect to the use of the words, use of the grammatical things, the use of how I have laid it out, some of the paragraphs, some of the sentences which were long, which were very short, or some of the sentences which I wanted to narrate was not coming in the format which a reader would perceive it in that. So that particular thought process changed a lot about how to write and understand somebody else. So that was very tough process, but yes, it was a nice journey. And the only thing is, which I regret, I could not spend more time on the editing it, because I had the work and then I had to do the editing work. That was the only thing which was there. But it was fun. I just recall an incident. One of the review was to remove hyphens, and I had used like close to 400 hyphens in the book. Okay, and the editor asked me to, the proofreader asked me to remove the hyphen. So now I could not just replace it. I have to go to each one of them, read the sentence, and see whether it makes sense or not.
Correct.
So 400 hyphens I had to go next. I still remember, I spent like 4 hours just going remove that hyphens.
Right. But I know it could be painful at that point, but it's nice that before somebody else read the book, that is, once it's available on Amazon, all those things got corrected.
Yes, and I knew it. Like, this is going to be the process. This is an editing. You have to put effort. Nobody else is going to do, because you're narrating the story. So you'll have to take this pain. There was no other way to go around it. So, but yeah, it was a good learning, I would say.
Right. So how does it feel now, Rahul, now that the book is out? What were some of the initial responses you got? And did you see anything else change around you as a result of the book?
Nothing much had changed, as per I'm the same person.
Maybe it's because you are the same person. Yeah, it's early days. But any
Yeah.
other reactions from people, that any other nice moments that you would cherish?
Yes, definitely it feels good when people appreciate what we have done, because one of my friend said to me, very close friend of mine, he said to me, look, Rahul, if you take it percentage wise, out of that 100% people you're talking, 50% don't do it. So they are totally out. Remaining 50%, there would be, out of that, only 20-30% would be the people who are actually writing, putting blogs or whatever that. So that are the people. Then you have 10 people who actually take it ahead and do like full-time thing. And then out of those, there are only handful of 3 or 4% of people who actually go to the step of writing a book and publishing it out.
Yeah.
You would fall in that particular zone. So that was one comment which I received, which I didn't thought about it, which I felt like good about it. The other comments which I got from a lot of my friends is like, now we can say at least I know author. So that was one comment
Right.
which I keep on getting every time I talk to some of my friends. So that is one comment. I got a comment from somebody in Japan on my LinkedIn post, which was good. The person said, Rahul, congratulations on publishing the book. This is the book I wanted to write, and I think so. You have written that So I'm going to
Wow.
grab a copy. So that was out of nowhere. Like I wouldn't have
Yeah.
expected somebody across um, on the other side of the world getting that message somehow and seeing it and messaging me. So that was a
Yeah. I think
very
the kind
different.
of connections that you can build as a result of the book is
Yeah.
like fantastic.
Yes, and yeah, so that these were some of the moments actually which I would have always cherished throughout my life. My mom is quite happy that I am able to I published this book, so she wants
She
to
lives in India, right?
she is in India. She wants to get the hard copy. I'll be there in India probably in January, so I'll definitely take a copy for her.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
those are those are the key moments I would say till now. But then
Yeah.
within my office, everybody appreciated
Hmm.
the workload from Kyocera. All our C-level folks, they were very appreciative about my work.
It's
So that
nice.
is a kind of
Great, Rahul. So, what would be your message to all those aspiring authors out there who have some kind of a message or knowledge, but are just hesitant? They're not taking that next step to go ahead and write it in the form of a book.
the first thing is there's no harm in trying it out. You just have to try yourself. Um, if you have the will, if you have the thought process in whatever
Mm,
subject, whatever things, you just go about it. Don't hesitate about it. Don't hesitate. Don't think about the result. I would say, just
yeah.
write. One thing which I realized is that a book is not written in entirely. A book is written a word by word. So you
Mm,
have to write each word at a time to complete that book. So it's like the ocean is made of all the droplets. The
mm,
same thing, a book is made of all the words which you write. So you have to just keep on writing it. It's a very different pleasure. It's a very different ball game. But yeah, if you are thinking about it, just take the plunge. The
yeah.
only thing which there's nothing to lose. You'll always gain some or the other thing. That's what I realized that I've gained a lot of information. I've gained a lot of
Mm.
knowledge on this. So my suggestion would be to just go and write it. I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a powerful message because a lot of times it's our own mindset block which stops us and no other real fear out there which is bothering, right? So I think this is something that everyone should think about, that there's nothing to lose actually, only so many things to gain.
Yeah, the things which I've realized is people don't like to read that because yeah, reading you have to sit down and read. There's no entertainment from that, and that's the reason why people think it's kind of boring. But
Hmm.
I've seen like when you read a book, when you read or look at some of the podcasts or hear a podcast or just audiobooks, listen to audiobooks or just go on YouTube and listen to some of the interviews. Or that actually gives you a knowledge which is imparted to you. Otherwise, you will not get that knowledge. So, book
Hmm.
is one area where you can get a lot of knowledge. You can get others' perspective about it and gain knowledge out of this. So, it's always a good thing.
True. So where can our listeners and viewers go to find out more about you and your work?
Yeah, so I'm very much active on LinkedIn. I'm like putting a lot of blogs, articles, posts throughout, primarily in the digital transformation space. So you can always find me there. Um, I have my own website, which is digitalthoughts.info, where I'll be posting all my articles, white papers through
Mhm.
that. That is something which I've started over there. So these are the two primary areas where I'll be very much active. I don't use any other uh, social media platforms as such. Though the book is all about the digital transformation and being digital, I don't use it
No, I
for
think
my.
that's perfect because you need to really be good at one before trying to expand to the other platform. So we'll have
Yes,
all the links right below in the show notes, Rahul. Thank you
yeah,
so much once again for coming on Author Success Show.
yeah. Thanks a lot for having me. I really enjoyed working with you and your team. Your team is amazing. Throughout
Thanks.
the journey, they helped me out in the total publishing process. Okay, so it was a fantastic journey. Without you guys, I wouldn't have been able to reach this stage. So thanks for everybody, and
Thank
give
you,
my
Rahul.
regards to all your team members.
Most definitely. Thank you.